Hello everyone, welcome back to this lecture. In this lecture, we will be talking about the history of computers and we will get to know how the technologies of the computers have been evolved throughout the centuries and the many years. So let's quickly start this lecture. Abacus. So everyone has known that before invention of the computer, counting was used. So, counting was very important at that primal stage. Previously, people used cattle, stones and various other tools for calculating doing the mathematical operations. But then, abacus was invented. So, abacus was also called a counting frame which is used as a calculating tool in the ancient Near East, Europe, China and Russia. So, abacus is also constructed in a bamboo frame with beads sliding on the wire. So you can see the abacus over here. But originally they were beams of stones moved in grooves of sand or tablets of wood, stone or metal. And the oldest surviving abacus was used in 300 BC by Babylonians. So the computers all have been started later on. But firstly, it was the abacus that was used as a counting device. Let's move to the next one. Napier bones. So, Napier bones was another device that was invented by John Napier. The John Napier was a Scottish from calculation of products, equations of numbers. He used 9 different ivory strips or bones marked with numbers to multiply and divide, so the tool became known as Napier bones. And it was also the first machine to use the decimal point. So as you can see over here, this was the device that was used, or we can say is known as Napier bones. It has the functions to calculate, do multiple functions we can say. It was able to multiply and even find the quotient of numbers. As you can see over here, it was quite easy. It was able to create a complete table using 9 ivory strips. And it was able to get the multiplication as well as the quotient of number. Pascaline. So, after abacus, then it came as Napier bones, and after Napier bones was Pascal. So over here you can see the computer was not yet invented, but we can see that counting of numbers or multiplication, or we can say for the arithmetic operations, has been changed. Before it was used on beads, then it came on ivory strips. Now it will moving to a Pascaline device that has rotors, motors to do the calculation. Pascaline is also known as an arithmetic machine or a adding machine. So Pascaline was also known as the arithmetic or adding machine. It was invented between 1642 and 1644 by a French mathematician known as Blaise Pascal. So the machine was named after his surname, that was Pascaline, and it believed that it was the first mechanical and automatic calculator. So you can see the calculator over here, which is also known as the first mechanical as well as an automatic calculator. So over here it has 5 different rotor motors that were turned, and we were able to find the calculations, or we can say we will find the results of the mathematical expression. Now we will be moving to the next one. So you can see over here, it is the difference engine, right? So from over here, now it started for the computers. Before all everything was the counting devices. It is often said that difference engine was the first computer that was made. So it was in early 1820 and it was designed by Charles Babbage, who is also known as the father of modern computer, isn't it? He is the father of modern computer. It was a mechanical computer which could perform simple calculations, and it was string driven. calculating machine device to solve table of numbers like log tables. So it was the first computer that was used to perform some simple calculations, and even it was used to find the tables like the log tables that are very complicated, right? So he wasn't, if you talk about the Charles Babbage, he wasn't able to complete this complete project, we can say. He left this thing in the middle of this thing. He got this project, he started to work on the project, and while working on the project, he got, like, his funds got finished. So he started to design another machine, okay, and he just left this machine incomplete. So this machine was not completed. Now we will be moving to the next machine on which he completed that machine. That machine is known as analytic engine. So while he was working on the difference engine, we can say, so in the middle of that complete thing, when his funds got over, he started to design a new thing, and that thing was known as analytic engine. So it was also developed by Charles Babbage in 1830. It was a mechanical computer that are used to punch cards as input, and it was capable of solving any mathematical problem and storing information as a permanent memory. So you came to know how the evolution of computers has been started, from counting devices to getting the rotary machines. Then it was coming towards the, we can say, it was coming towards the difference engines that were used to find the log tables. Now it came as storing. Okay, you saw the evolution, right? You're getting the memory first of all. So over here you got a permanent memory, and punch cards were used as an input. As I told you about the block diagram previously, that you are giving an input, you will be getting you are getting the output also. So over here the input was a punch cards, and you can see the machine was capable enough to store the device, or to store. So it was having its own memory. So this was made by the Charles Babbage too. Now we will be moving along and getting to know about the history. So let's move. Tabulating machine. So this machine was invented in 1890s by Herman Holrier. It was an American statistician. It was a mechanical tabulator based on punch cards. It could tabulate statics and record or sort the data or information. So this machine was able to sort the data, or it was able to record or get the stats of a particular area. This machine was used in 1890's US Census. Holrier also started its Holrier tabulating machine. So this machine was used in US Census because it was able to sort the data and get the information. And afterwards he started his own company, which became as IBM. Everyone is quite aware of that company. That is International Business Machine, IBM. That was in 1924. He started his own company. So it started from tabulating machine, and he started his very huge company that is known as IBM. Now we will be talking about the Mark I. So you got the timeline, complete timeline? Yes. The next major change in history of computer began in 1937 when Howard Aiken planned to develop a machine that could perform calculations involving large numbers. In 1944, Mark I computer was built as a partnership between IBM and the Howard University, and it was the first programmable digital computer. So Mark I was built between two major companies, that was IBM and the Howard University. They completed this computer, and it was the first programmable digital computer. So you could be able to reprogram that computer. So you can see the image over here. So it was quite huge. You can see over here, like it has many numbers of, you can see, very lengthy. It was able to store the information also. And which is also known as electronical, numerical, integrator and computer, which was the first general purpose computer. We came to know about the previous, that is the Mark I. It was the first programmable digital we can say computer, but this was the first general purpose computer. it was able to solve large number of numerical problems through reprogramming, and it was also used to calculate artillery firing tables for US Army. So basically it was used for the US Army because whenever you are firing, there is a table that is being calculated at the firing range, like at which angle the weapon should be launched so that it should hit the target. So this computer was used over there, and it could calculate large class of numerical problems by reprogramming. And this same computer was also used in the Manhattan Project. You might be aware about the Manhattan Project, isn't it? Because that was the first nuclear test that was used. So this computer was also used over there. Over here you can see the timeline, and everything got changed right now. IBM company introduced its own personal computer. IBM PC is the first IBM model computer. 5150 was introduced on 12th August 1981. The machine was based on open architecture, and third-party supplies spanned up to provide peripheral devices, expansion cards and software. So you can see the image right now. So it was quite similar to the today's computer, isn't it? So it was IBM's first computer that was introduced, and it was able to calculate different large number of operations, and even it has its own peripheral devices. Like the keyboard, there was an input like floppy disk and everything. Talking about the Apple Lisa. So this was the first computer developed by Apple in 19 January 1981. It was the first personal computer to present graphical user interface in a machine that aimed at individual business users. Previously, there wasn't any kind of a graphical interface by IBM all throughout the timeline, but the Apple Lisa became the first graphical interface to provide to the users. So you can see the image of the Apple Lisa. So over here you can see there is an optical mouse, or there is a keyboard, as well as there was a screen over here. After some upgrades of this Apple Lisa, its name got changed to its Macintosh. So Macintosh was an upgraded version of this Apple Lisa. And after this on, there was many technologies that were being used. We can say like it started from vacuum tubes, now it came to registers. So it was throughout the timeline that has been used. Like you can see the timeline, how it started from the counting from Pascaline, now it came to INAC, then it came to the Apple Lisa. So this was throughout the timeline that was happening. After this, many search engines, many companies have been introduced themselves, created various number of technologies, making ultrabooks, making various kinds of things in that particular area. So this was all about the history of computers, like how it got evolved, and you can see the PCs right now in front of you. So that's the present world, or we can say the century with the new technologies. In our next lecture, we will be talking about the classifications of computers, on which basis, or we can say the generations of computers too. So, thank you.